Hello, well, welcome to another Talking To episode. I'm your host Teddy, and today I'm being joined once again by...
Hayden.
And today, we're going to talk about the TMNT 2003 Season 2, Episode 6, Secret Origins, Part 1. So, what do you think about this episode briefly?
Briefly, I think it's a very historic and very much story-driven episode, which I really do like because it explains a lot about the history of this whole series, and it really opens up your eyes like, wow, this goes way beyond the limitations of what you first thought watching this series, and it's really good.
You have to say that with this episode, it's an interesting one because I feel like there's a lot of stuff in this one which I think is pretty decent for the most part. But like all the stuff with happening in the present day stuff, I think that's just okay kind of stuff. But when you do get into all the stuff in the past with the history of the Ootroms, I do find that to be like very fascinating. Just because I had to say, just like with the notes from the Underground episodes, where like those episodes, it was building out the history and the lore of this universe. And like how in this one, we have to explore that a lot more, like going to Japan, exploring the Ootroms, and all that kind of stuff. And I won't lie, this episode is gonna, and also the next episode is gonna be very hard to like talk about this one without spoiling stuff, because there's a very, very big spoiler happened in next episodes, and I had to choose my words wisely. That's it's gonna be difficult.
Lots of spoilers. Okay, I'm preparing myself.
No, it's not. No. I wouldn't say like no. So it's not like a lot of spoilers, but it's one big spoiler which which you already do know, but I'm pretty sure you've forgotten about it already. So that's good. But at the same time, it's just that I don't want to say the wrong thing to put your mind in going into that direction. So yeah. Okay. So. Yeah, okay, where to really begin with all this? Let's talk about the, like, stuff that's happening outside TCRI first, because there's some stuff that's happened there, but, like, not really too much, like, importance, really. So we've got Casey and April. They're there. Do you have anything to say about that, or not really?
To be honest, it was quite nice to see Casey Jones and April O'Neil back at it again, and of course they're in the Shell Razor, and they're just scoping out the place. Of course, they keep referring to the time, but we will get into that later on, because I've got a whole, like, answer sheet here, like, how and why this is happening, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, no, seeing Casey Jones and April O'Neil back again was pretty cool. And just the whole, that scene in general of them just, like, spying on the TCRI. And then, of course, we get the National Guard coming in with their Abrams tanks. Like, that was completely unexpected. Like, I didn't think they would go as far as bringing the National Guard with Abrams tanks. Like, that is just insane.
Yeah, I'll just say about, like, the Casey and April stuff. It was, like, really good to see them, but it did feel, like, weird because I don't know how to best explain it, but it feels like, I don't know, because I do mention, like, the time stuff, and it feels like, I don't know how to really best explain it, but, like, it doesn't really feel, I don't know, just because, like, they say that, like, it's only been 8 hours for them, but we just watched 5 episodes, and the whole time thing just feels really off and, like, really weird to see them just here, because just like in, like, next episode, like, there are in the episode, a little bit more, which I think for, like, their reintroduction into the show would be, like, better there, because it just feels like so out of place, just a bit like show up and be like, oh man, I can't believe we can't do anything. Oh no, we're just gonna wait. It just feels so out of place, and to mention the time stuff, it just feels so weird. And I think maybe like some bits which they could have done to get around this was either like have this scene in the next episode, or maybe have like scenes from like the like Casey and April and Splinter and all that kind of stuff, like scattered throughout the last 5 episodes. But it was good to see them, but it just felt weird to see them. And then also we have Baxter Stockman. Yeah, okay. Where do we begin with this?
Yeah, no. Seeing Baxter Stockman come in in this like spider bot. It was very weird at first because I'm thinking, okay, what's this? Is this the Shredder's doing? Is this Shredder's plan of a spider bot, an infiltration bot to see what's going on in the city? He's got eyes and ears everywhere. But no, out of the blue, a head appears, and it's Dr. Stockman's head. And it was really cool to see Stockman, but really creepy at the same time, because he's, like, bodiless. Like, it's just a head. Like, there are so many questions that I have, but I don't think you're going to be able to give me the answers to them. Like, how is he alive? How is he still figuring out stuff? And just how and why? How is he still alive? How is he not dead? How is he being powered? How is he... There's so many questions to Dr. Stockman's return and why he's there at that single moment in time. That is a question that just bugs me so much.
Yeah, to say about with these Stockman stuff, it was like really like great to see Stockman. I do feel like his like first lines where he goes, "I'm back." That felt like so out of place for Stockman. It felt more like the actor was just walking into like the mic booth and like saying those words. It doesn't really feel like a Stockman thing to do. And I think like laughing about the whole episode, it felt off, but at the same time, it was just so great to see like this version of Stockman. I mean, with what they've done with like I'd say like what 2012 did with Stockman, and then just seeing him show up here, what they did with one episode, I mean, I've pretty much forgotten everything they've done with 2012 one, and he is just the best. And throughout this whole episode, his stuff was okay. And you didn't really know what was going on with Stockman, so I won't say too much about it. So yeah, but with the whole stuff with the head thing, it gets more messed up because he's literally just a brain in a robot's body, and he never recovers from that. And I do find it a bit weird that like, he has a faceplate of his own head. That just seems weird. But, God, like, what happened to Stockman to get to this stage in his like, point in his life? Because like last time I saw him, he was in that big robot body, and now he's this. So, yeah, he's really gone down in the world. Okay, yeah, so let's talk about the stuff in TCRI. Yeah, just a little bit. So let's talk about the stuff in TCRI. So, yeah, let's talk about the first battle bit between, like, the Federation, the Triceratons, and the Utrons and all that kind of stuff. What do you think about that bit there?
Well, seeing the Turtles get zapped back to Earth by the Utrons, that was very different, because after last week's cliffhanger, I really wanted to know what happened, of course. I think 90% I got correct, I think, last time. But to be honest, to see them back on Earth and to see them surrounded by the Utron, you're thinking, hold on a minute, a massive fight's going to break out, heads are going to start flying, hell's going to break loose, basically. But to be honest, it really did surprise me on how that actually went down, because we got the Triceratons, including the Federation, that got zapped up with the Turtles as well. And then immediately there was gunfire everywhere. The Federation started firing, the Triceratons started fighting, the Turtles started fighting. I mean, it was a bloodbath, really. Of course, minus the blood, of course, but it was a huge battle. Everything was going crazy, and I'm still trying to process on, like, what is actually going on? Like, why are they here? Who's this random bloke that's just teleported them, and what are these flying pieces of gum all over the place? Like, what is actually going on?
You have to say that with this like little fight scene here, it was pretty good for the most part. I mean, it just, I don't know, I felt like it was a little bit too short for some reason, but there wasn't really too much to it, but I did enjoy it quite a bit. And yeah, I don't know what to really say, but I do wish for like the Utrons got a bit more involved in it, and even like seeing like the Toys get a bit more involved. I feel like this fight scene, like, I felt like it should have been a lot more, but there wasn't, and yeah, I don't know, just a little bit disappointed by it. But we do have a Triceraton who escapes. All I gotta say is because I do keep in mind that like the building, or like level which are on, is already below like street level, and went in the elevator down so many levels. How far down is this like it's this building that goes. It has a massive drop that goes down to the sewers. So where on earth is this? And I do actually mean that. Where on earth is it? I mean, it's somewhat close to like where the was like monsters are in the caves and all that. How far? But yeah, what do you think about that little bit there?
To be honest, I was really perplexed on like how far it actually dropped. Like, are we so far underground that the sewers is just there, or was there like an access hatch or a ventilation hatch that goes into the sewers for the teleporter? Really, I stopped questioning it, thinking like, okay, it's like alien technology. I don't really see the point of trying to unravel it because I would never understand why they did it. But yeah, to be honest, it was kind of weird to see like the Triceratops fall all the way through those floors to then end up in the sewer. To be honest, I thought it was going to go to the center of the earth. Like, hell, I was even thinking he would go into the city, the lost city underneath New York. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
I thought he was going down there.
Well, okay then. So with that in mind, like, what do you think is going to happen with that Triceratops in the future?
To be honest, with the Triceratops, I'm not too sure. I think this is a really big if, but I think he's going to try and rebuild his militia. He's going to try and get weapons, he's going to make allies, and then he's going to attack TCRI and the Turtles at the same time to try and get back to his homeworld, sort of thing, and try and bring his homeworld to Earth, perhaps? That's what I'm thinking. It's a big if, but it sounds like the most logical thing.
Yeah, okay. So moving
Yay,
on.
nay, no, okay.
No, you're really far off, but
Well,
I'll let you have it for now.
I gave it my best shot.
Okay, so with the next bit, we do get to see the Turtles. They discover that Mortu is an Utrom, but even if you look at his name, Mortu spelled backwards is Utrom. What do you think about that little scene there?
To be honest, it was very weird seeing the Utrons for the very first time and seeing a Muto as well. Because at first you're thinking, hold on a minute, this is the Krang. We need to attack. We need to defend ourselves. And seeing them not attack and seeing them being non-violent and actually friendly towards the Turtles was very weird. Like, this was a very big major plot twist in my opinion, because as you already know, I've not seen the Turtles. I'm only watching this every time as we go along and developing about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle universe as we go along, and seeing the Utron for the very first time and thinking, okay, that's the Krang. They are the bad guys. They're the enemy. But to see them non-violent and to see them being the good guys for once, I was very shocked. Like, wow, this is kind of turned things upside down, really. Like, who are the bad guys? Is it still the Utron? Is it the Krang? Is it the Shredder? I've got no clue at this point.
I mean, I think that, like, with this bit here, it was... I mean, I like how it must have been to certain things up for, like, this storyline, saying that, oh yeah, you know, like, the Utrons have, like, you know, the whole backstory is, like, very connected to ours, and I do like that set up there with, like, and, like, like, explore that with the whole, like, past stuff and all that. But when we do get to see, like, Dr. Morty comes in, and he reveals that he's an Utron, and tells, like, oh my god, I can't believe it! They're in a building full of aliens, and they can't believe that another person is an alien. It just seems like so weird, like their reactions. And I have to say, like, throughout this whole episode, their whole reactions was just like really off, because and I know that we'll talk about this a little bit later, but like with like Tools, just like constantly thinking, oh yeah, that whole dream thing is like real and trying to stop things. It just seems like the whole thing was just really off with their reactions, and I don't know, it just seems... I mean, I don't know if like they make up like some excuses because it's been like a long 8 hours or 3 weeks in their case, but the whole reaction just seemed really off, and especially like with a scene like this, we just like really, you didn't really think he was not going to be like an alien or something like that. It just seemed stupid. So yeah. So yeah, after that we do get to see the turtles. They do go down into the base, or another room or basement, or wherever it is in this building. We do get to see them go into this machine to like view the past. Do you have anything to say about like that room or the machine or anything like that, or not really?
To be honest, it was pretty cool seeing the room, or the mind room, I'm not too sure what they called it. And of course, I really did like Mikey's reference to saying anything that starts with a pod in a sci-fi movie is just like means trouble, basically. And of course, he was referring to the Alien movie, and I'm a massive lover of the Alien movie, so I got that reference straight away. But that was also pretty cool, just seeing that little reference been put in there. But to be honest, I don't really have much to say about the mind room. It's pretty cool that these Utron have this collective mindset of being as one, like a hive mind sort of thing. Yeah, that was cool. But the whole experience, going into the room and just looking around, it did look like something from Alien, to be honest. It looked like, hold on a minute, these people are going to get turned into alien munch, you know? Like, that's what I first thought, but it wasn't. It was just a really weird looking room, but no, I thought it was pretty cool.
You had to say that, like, with the whole mind bit, I thought it was like a pretty interesting device, and one which we don't normally get to see too often in terms of the like toe stuff. I found that to be pretty interesting, just because, you know, I think it's actually a really cool device, and something which I would definitely like to see like return, or just do something with that kind of like device, whether it may be, whether that's being like Marvel, DC, or movies, comics, or whatever. I think that like the whole device thing is like really cool, and I don't know, something about if it was like in real life, I think that could be quite cool, something interesting, maybe a bit disturbing for some cases, but you know, I think it's a really cool device, and it's a really interesting way to like tell like the story with like the Utrons and everything that they do in this episode, and yeah. Okay, so the next bit, we do get to see them, Turtles viewing the past. Let's talk about the stuff in the ship first, with the Mortu traveling the prisoner. I will say this, it's not like a spoiler or anything, but the prisoner is called Sherelle. So, yeah, hopefully that helps, if like naming Utrons and all that. So, yeah, what do you think about that scene there?
To be honest, are we talking about the flashback with the scene on the ship first with the navigators? Yes.
Yes,
okay.
and also like all the stuff in the ship. I feel like it would just be easier because there's not really too much to really talk about the ship, but you know, those little things there, they have some pretty big implications for the Utrons.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, of course, they're on the bridge of the Utron ship, and they're talking to the navigators in this giant, vat of liquid, and then navigating the ship. And of course, we find out that Mutro is the Utron captain of that vessel, who's transporting the war criminal Sherelle back to their home planet, or wherever that may be. And of course, we get to see, like, okay, these are prison guards, these are warriors here to take down Sherelle and bring him back to justice. So that was pretty cool. It was kind of weird because it was like very different to how I would imagine how an Utron would travel and navigate the stars. Like they use like 3 heads, like 3 navigators, like collective oneness, as they describe it, which I thought was pretty cool. And of course, then we move on to the prison of the vessel, which contains Sherelle. And of course, seeing Sherelle for the very first time, thinking, okay, this is more of the sort of thing that I was expecting of an Utron. A very malicious, very ruthless, dangerous Utron that resembles the Krang. And that's why I'm thinking, okay, this must be the Krang. This must be the bad side of the Utrons. So that was pretty cool. And of course, Mikey being Mikey, he's making funny faces, having no respect of the memories. Like, come on, have some respect of the history. But yeah, no, seeing that was pretty cool. And then, of course, moving on to when Utron escaped the vessel. Not Utron, sorry. Sherelle escaped prison, and he brought down the ship. And of course, he is just really bad, really ruthless. And he brings down the ship with everyone on it. And of course, they end up being crash landed on primitive Earth, and to which we find out it's Japanese. Is it 11th century? 11th medieval century?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is 11th century Japan, which I thought was pretty cool, because this just shows how far and how long the Utron have lived on Earth, which I thought was pretty cool. And seeing how the fighting style that the Ninja Turtles use was developed. And I thought, wow, this is going back to its roots, like we are going old school. And of course, I know I keep going on, but I'm just going to wrap this up. Then we see the Utron figuring out how to get home, and time passes by. They develop this suit, which they ability to walk among humans and blend in. And of course, Shirel, I can't believe he didn't die. That, like, seriously, he was holding wires and blew up the ship. We all saw it, and I'm surprised he somehow survived. He crawled himself out of that wreckage alive, and managed to take down another Utron and steal his suit. And of course, that's where we go from there. Did I get everything?
Are you finished?
I think I'm finished. I need to catch my breath.
Yeah, okay, so with the stuff from the ship, I thought it was pretty good. I don't have too much to really say about the ship scenes. It was just, like there to set up the story, and with certain bits, like the Shrel stuff, which I do find to be pretty interesting, and I do think that once you learn a lot more about him, and you go back and look at this scene, you can be like, huh, okay, that's interesting with where they do take Shrel, and it's because of what Shrel becomes, it's very underwhelming that this is his escape from like the Utrons and where he goes next afterwards, which I do find to be disappointing, but I do think that for like the most part this scene was just pretty okay and generic, just one of those kind of scenes that just was there to set things up for the future. But with the whole Shrel stuff, I really wish there was a little bit more, and then even seeing like some stuff with like the early Japan, I thought that was really great. Yeah, so, and what do you think about the scene where Mikey was, like, trying to fight the Japanese master, and then was sort of failing, but sort of not? I thought it was one of the best scenes ever.
No, it was kind of funny, just him trying to fight off the Japanese master. Just seeing him, like, he's pretending to be in this movie, and it's just Mikey being Mikey. Like, everyone else is trying to absorb the information that the Utron are giving them, and then Mikey's just being Mikey. Like, Mikey just doesn't care. He's like, I'm gonna try and fight this guy, even though I can't actually attack him. And then, of course, he then decides to go and eat his breakfast. I say eat his breakfast, I meant try and eat his breakfast, because he hasn't clocked on yet that this is just a dream. This is a memory. This is not real. It's the Matrix of sorts. Just It's not real.
Yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I thought it was like one of the like best fight scenes, or I wouldn't say best fight scenes, but like one of the best like comedy scenes in the show, and it worked on every level, and it was amazing. But with the food bit, I feel like that also goes back to like what I was saying earlier with the whole reaction scenes, where just because it'd be like it's so like weird to see like these turtles which are more mature, shall we say. And yeah, they keep forgetting that they're in the virtual reality and all that kind of stuff. And and we do get to see like later when the turtles are trying to fight, trying to fight the robots and all that, and they keep going through them and all that. You're thinking, how are you forgetting this? Even Don forgets it, and stuff like this is just so. Yeah. But yeah, okay, moving on. So and we do get to see them build the first exoskeleton of the Utron. What do you think about like that scene, and also like the test, like test run and all that?
To be honest, I thought that was pretty cool. Seeing the testing of the Utron, like they are proper going into the development of the Utron, and it shows a lot more willingness to show the story of how they've managed to survive this long. Like the producers actually thought this through and said, you know what, we want to explain how the Utron have survived, we want to explain how they got here, they want to explain every little detail, and that's what I just love about it. There's shows like this that really remind me how good and how passionate producers are, because they want to explain every single detail. And this is what I love. What people want to know is like, how did this happen? How did they survive? And this just explains it and shows it very perfectly on how they survived and how they built up their community or survival group over the centuries and over the many, many millennia. And I just thought that was really cool of them to put that in there.
You have to say that with this bit, I thought it was like really fascinating just to see like how it does like all work and all that, and just I don't know, I like stuff like this where do you get to see like characters explore like themselves, expand their like abilities and stuff like that, and I just find this to be so fascinating. And if anything, I'd like to see like a whole like movie or series like this where do you get to see like aliens like trying to live among humans in like I don't know, like 11th century or 12th century or whatever it is. I feel like there's so many things you could do with it, and I feel like this is just the tip of the iceberg of what they could do. It's just so amazing with like the potential they could tell, the stories, all that. It's just amazing. But yeah, so we do get to see Shrel. He comes in and he steals the robot body, and then he leaves. I don't think there's anything to really say about that, but we do get to see like a few years later or something like that. We do get to see the Ultrons are trying to like recover like the ship and all that before they're attacked by the Foot and all that. Like, was you expecting to see the Foot in this or not?
To be honest, I really wasn't expecting the Foot this early on in like the history of it all. Like the 11th century Japan, I wasn't expecting it at all. Like, of course, I had my reasons for them being there. Like going back to the 2012 show, the Shredder and his family history and his ancestry descended from 11th century Japan. So I'm thinking, okay, this must be Shredder's great-great-granddad or his great-great-ancestor or something like that. Something far beyond in the family tree. But then, of course, I started piecing together, and I don't know if it is true or not. I'm hoping it is, because it will explain a hell of a lot. I think Sherelle is Shredder, because, stay with me here, stay with me. When we saw the last season, when we saw the season finale of last season in this series, this show, Shredder's head was decapitated from his body. And that's the crazy thing. What if Sherelle has Shredder's body, and of course Sherelle is a neutron, and of course he's just the head, and of course he has control of this body. Maybe Sherelle is Shredder after all those centuries, and he's managed to survive because he's a neutron. Me thinking that, oh my gosh, this guy is like a robot, and he's like possessed. He's got these dark powers that allow him to regrow limbs and walk without a head. I think Sherelle is Shredder. I'm just saying that might be, but I could be completely wrong with this.
Yeah, that's a very good theory. I don't know what to really say about that. Just keep watching, shall we say?
Okay. I think, hold on, am I on the right track? Because you're very quiet. Because usually when I'm on the right track, you're very, very quiet.
Well, that depends if you want. I don't know. You could. Do me tell you if that theory was correct or not? That might help situations.
Yeah, go on then, because I'm not going to be.
You're correct. Sherelle is Shredder.
Sherelle is Shredder.
Yeah, I was trying to not spoil it, but I mean, now that you know, I guess I can speak freely about it now.
Yep, the cat's out of the bag, really. So, yeah, you can talk about it all you want.
Well, that's somewhat good because, like, I'm trying to not talk about it, but at the same time, I must admit, it's a little bit annoying for like in your situation, because now when we do get to that reveal bit, it's not going to be that big of a reveal, but okay, I mean, you got it, so
yay.
But yeah, I mean, I thought about this that bit. I thought it was like really cool to see like 11th century like foot soldiers, and like I do find it like really fascinating with the whole lore and history of the Foot Clan, something which we will get to explore in a later season, which I think you'll find very fascinating. But I'll just say that with it, like now what it do here, it is really cool to see them do stuff like this, like here, and also really great to see like what like the Foot were looking like back then, and how things run. But at the same time, because of what they do in the later season with the Foot Clan, it does make you question a lot of stuff about the timeline and history for the show. But other than that, I thought this was pretty decent stuff. So yeah. But then for the final scene, we do get to see the turtles. They get teleported back, or what do I say teleported? But they got sucked into the real world. Well, not real world, the virtual world, where they can get hurt. And Mikey gets slashed by the shredder. Yeah, do you have anything to say about that scene?
That was very, very interesting. That was, it was really, like, it was a proper plot twist. People were like, oh my gosh, that is just happening right now. The Matrix has come to life and is now going to kill the turtles. Like, the Matrix is a real sort of thing. It's come to life that the Matrix has it's come to life, basically.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a okay kind of scene. Do I have anything to really say about it, really? I mean, with the slash that Mikey got from Shredder, he probably should be dead, especially, like, because it went, like, down his face and chest, like, near the heart, so he should be dead, but, you know, it's a kids' TV show, so he's alive. Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much to really say, because, like, the majority of it, which I want to talk about, is in the next episode, so I can't really talk about it too much there, so, yeah. But yeah, what do you think about this episode overall?
Overall, I thought this was a really cool episode, a really good one, because it explains a lot, and it just builds up the tension and the excitement for the other episodes. Like, we now know the history, we now know why this is happening, we now know how the turtles are connected to TCRI, and how the turtles came to be because of the Utron trying to get home and doing a noble cause. This all pieces together, and it just makes you think, wow, someone actually spent the time, all that time and energy, to passionately put this all together in this one episode. And it's just amazing to think that there are still producers out there that do this sort of stuff and make it so informative whilst visually pleasing as well. It's great when everything comes together. It's amazing.
Yeah, I have to say, like, with the lore and history for this episode, it just does a really great and amazing job at it. And I wish there was like a lot more episodes like this where it's able to explore and expand this universe in like so many more fascinating ways. And the way that they went around it with doing like the Matrix thing with the dreams and past, very creative. And there's a lot of stuff about like this kind of era of like storytelling. I say in like for kids, I put it in quotations because half the time it really doesn't really seem it, but like stuff like this, it really makes you like question a lot of stuff like who this really is for. But like for a kids show, it does a really great job at everything really, and yeah, there's so much which I do enjoy about this one, but I don't know because I would say like there's a lot of stuff which I do love about this episode, but at the same time, it's just like one of those kind of episodes which I can't put higher on my list because it's just like one of those kind of episodes. But a lot of stuff which I absolutely love about this episode. Okay, so do you want to hear some truth about this episode?
Let's hear it.
Okay, so for one bit of trivia, it was the alien reference, which, yeah, I feel like we already got that one, so yeah. Baxter Stockman is revealed to have survived after the events of Return to New York Part 3. His head is the only thing left organic of him now, as his head is attached to a small spider-like robot. Okay. That's not really trivia.
It's just kind of stating the obvious, really.
Yeah. and then also got another bit was talking about the Triceraton. He escaped, and that he will appear in a future episode. Not really trivia.
Where's this? This ain't trivia. Come on, mate.
Yeah.
Where's the trivia?
And there were some errors. So and saying for that, and for a brief second, Don's eyes were green. I didn't see that.
Me neither.
Okay. Next, and then the other error is when the Turtles go back in time. Donatello says it looks like it's 11th century feudal Japan. However, the feudal era of Japan didn't start until 12th century. Okay. Well, that's interesting. I mean, there was I'll say that there was like a few errors which I noticed, which was just more of the colours, because at one point which it just in the past bit where do get Seal Turtles and Mars Splinter, they were orange and yellow. There was one scene where we do get to see Mars Splinter, he was in normal colours, and then at the beginning where we do get to see Turtles in Triceraton suits, there was one scene where we do get to see Leonardo with swords that weren't in the sheaths, but it's just little minor things like that. Okay, so for the trivia, no, not trivia, for the cast, we've got Donatello voiced by Sam Riegel, and yeah, I must admit this is actually really weird to talk about him now, because it was just, I believe it was just yesterday or Monday, he put out a video saying that he's been battling with cancer. So,
oh wow,
yeah, but he's surviving it. I think he's cleared of it. It's something to do with the throat, and then got radiation burns and all that. He's got a scar on his neck. Yeah, but he's doing well now. So
that's good then. That's good to hear.
Yeah. Okay, so we've got Leonardo voiced by Michael St. Nicholas. So we've got Michelangelo voiced by Wayne Grayson. Raphael voiced by Greg Abbey. Spencer voiced by Darren Dunstan. Mr. Mortu in the suit and also as the Utron done by Dan Green. And Futuroid voiced by Oliver Wyman. Feudal Shredder voiced by Scotty Ray. That's a very big obvious clue. And it also doesn't say in here, but Shrek was also voiced by Scotty Ray. However, they changed his voice so it's a bit change it so pitch it up, I think. But however, in next season, when we do get to see Shrek in the present day stuff, they just use his normal voice. I don't know why I changed it halfway through the show, but yeah. April voiced by Veronica Taylor. Casey voiced by Mark Thompson. News anchor Dwight voiced by Oliver Wyman. Reporter Alex Carlin voiced by Mark Thompson. There was some other people in here which don't get names of, but I'm pretty sure one of the Utrons was voiced by Michael St. Nicholas, and the Navigators I'm pretty sure voiced by Darren Dunstan. Baxter Stockman voiced by Scott Williams, and also one which interesting one which I think you might be surprised at. The army sergeant, he was voiced by Scott Williams as well.
Oh wow.
Okay, so for the next episode, what do you think is going to happen in that episode?
To be honest, I think there's going to be a lot that's going to get uncovered. I think the National Guard are going to start kicking down doors and taking names. They're going to investigate what's going on. And I think the Turtles are going to be in some sort of Matrix scenario about trying to get out alive and not trying to get killed by the virtual Shredder. And of course, I think we're going to unveil Shirelle as Shredder in the next episode as well, and piece together on why that is. And of course, the Turtles are going to find out, of course. But I've kind of jumped the gun with that, sadly. I do apologise, but we got some other stuff that is going to be revealed next episode that I don't know about, so that's going to be interesting to know. To be honest, I think Stockman is going to get captured by the Utron and, I don't know, interrogated perhaps, captured and thinking, what have you done? Fix what you've done, and then he's probably going to escape like he normally does, because it's Stockman. He always gets away, even if he does lose a body part along the way. That's just Stockman for you. And of course, I'm not too sure. I don't think we're going to be seeing the Triceraton for quite some time because he's escaped. He's down in the sewers. He's just trying to survive. So I don't think we're going to see much of him. I could be completely wrong, but that's what I think.
Okay, well, that's very interesting. Yeah. But now for your favourite part.
Oh no.
Who do you think is going to be starting the episode? A little hint, it's one of the turtles.
I want to say... nah, Donnie was last week. It can't be Donnie like twice in a row. I want to say Leo, perhaps.
Is that your final answer?
Oh, God. It's like on a game show. It's like, is this your final answer? You're putting me on the spot now, mate. Screw it. I'm going to go with Leo. It's probably going to be wrong.
Yeah, you're wrong.
And I'm wrong. God damn it. Donnie again? Really? How many times can Donnie go? Honestly, next week I'm going to say Donnie, and it's not going to be real. It's not going to be Donnie. It's going to be like Mikey or Raphael or something ridiculous. Hell, maybe not even the Turtles.
You're correct about that. It's not one for turtles. For
I've got
week.
something right then.
Or ricotta. So, yeah. Yeah, everything I'll say about this episode, or it's all done with this one.
To be honest, I'm pretty much done with this episode. We've covered the main facts. We've covered why things have happened. We've covered how Shredder's still alive and he's well, which is good, because that was the whole reason why the Turtles went after TCRI. And it's good to now know why the Ultron are here and they're going to help us and they're going to help the Turtles. And it's just really cool to see how the history was made and developed. But overall, I say a 10 out of 10 episode and probably going to be on my top 10.
I mean, I wish I could put... I don't know if I would put on my list, but I enjoy the episode a lot, but I don't know, something about it, it's not really like a top 10 list worthy, or it might be, but not high, but I feel like I should, but I don't know, I'm very conflicted now, because I want to, I don't know, we'll wait and see about that. But yeah, so that's been another episode. I've been your host, Teddy.
And I've been Hayden.
And we'll see you all soon. Goodbye, yo. Bye.
Bye.